When I began this series, I thought we were talking about books, screens, and stories, and we have. But somewhere along the way, I realised they were never really the subject at all. They were simply the starting point. The real conversation has been about something much bigger. Hi, I'm Jan Falconer, a children's author, mother and grandmother, and this is Not Netflix Natters, the series where we became curious about the stories our children watch, and perhaps even more curious about why they matter. Today, we're coming to the end of Series 3, and as I've been preparing this episode, I've found myself reflecting on what we've really been talking about over these past few weeks, because it hasn't only been books, it hasn't only been what we watch on screens, and it hasn't only been stories. It's actually been something much bigger. How do we help children navigate a world that is changing faster than any previous generation has experienced? When I look back at the series, I realise that question has quietly been sitting behind every episode. One of the unexpected pleasures of putting this series together has been learning alongside people whose work has challenged and encouraged my own thinking. Todd Rose reminds us there is no such thing as the average child. Every child is wonderfully unique. Every family is different. Alison Gopnik encourages us to see children as natural scientists, constantly experimenting, observing, and making sense of the world around them. Kathy Hirsh-Pasek and Roberta Golinkoff remind us that children learn through relationships. They learn through conversations, through play, and through meaningful experiences, not simply by collecting information. Urie Bronfenbrenner reminds us that children never grow up in isolation. Families, schools, communities, and society all influence the people they become. Shonkoff reminds us that supportive relationships remain one of the strongest foundations a child can have. And Jonathan Haidt encourages us to think carefully about childhood in the digital age, not with panic, but with thoughtful questions about balance. Now, none of these people agree on everything, nor should they, but every one of them reminds us that children deserve thoughtful adults who are willing to keep learning alongside them. As I think about everything that we've explored, I realise something. We haven't really been talking about what's on our screens. We haven't really been talking about books. We've really been talking about judgment, curiosity, conversations, family culture, helping children understand not simply what to think about, but how to explore ideas safely with trusted adults around them. Every family will make different decisions, and that's exactly as it should be. The important thing is that those decisions are thoughtful, they're explained, and they're rooted in values that matter to that family. The Mortal Kombat story really wasn't about a film. It was about belonging. The Running Watch wasn't really about technology. It was about parenting. The books we've discussed weren't really about reading. They were about relationships. Again and again, the stories reminded me that the conversations matter far more than the object itself. So where does that leave us? Children today are growing up in a world where information has been more abundant. Technology continues to evolve. New opportunities appear almost daily, and so do new questions. I don't think the answer is to fear every new development. Neither do I think we should embrace every new development without asking questions. Families have always navigated change. The tools change, they truly do, but the conversations remain. Perhaps that's our role, not to have every answer, not to control every decision, but to walk alongside our children, grandchildren, as they gradually learn to make thoughtful decisions for themselves. And that leads us to Series 4, because I don't think the next conversation is really about what we're watching on our screens. It's about navigation. How do we help children navigate an ever-changing world? How do families make thoughtful decisions when technology changes so quickly? How do we remain curious without becoming fearful? How do we encourage discernment without becoming cynical? And perhaps most importantly, how do we help children ask better questions in a world overflowing with answers? Those are the conversations I'd love us to explore next. Not because I have all the answers, far from it, because I think the conversations worth having together. Thank you for spending this time and this series with me. I hope these conversations have encouraged you to pause, to reflect, and perhaps ask one or two different questions in your own family. Because I've discovered something while writing this series. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give children isn't another answer. It's helping them become confident enough to keep asking thoughtful questions. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this series, I'd love it if you'd subscribe so you'll know when Series 4 begins. But until next time, keep noticing, keep wondering, and keep asking thoughtful questions.